essentially.
I would like to introduce you guys to crack. I was just thinking, man, I think we've both been in a funk, so let's just talk about that, man. I've been in a funk, and I think you've been in a funk for the same exact reason as me, so I think it's worthy. I think the same exact rules apply. You try and try and try, right? And then the ultimate goal that you're looking for seems farther away. Farther than ever.
Not even just that, like that motherfucker is like looking at me like, sorry, bye. Like goddamn Wile E. Coyote chasing the fucking road runner, man. That's what the shit feel like, man.
Well, you have to make your world.
Yeah, but see, what, like, to that point, what I'm starting to feel like my quote-unquote world is, like, forcing me to do, to make my quote-unquote world, is resort to criminal shit.
I mean, I used to think that way, too. Till I got creative. This is what we were talking about earlier. Trying to be creative, trying to think of more creative ways to do things. And by the way, like that initial like, I don't know, it just seems like the only answer. It actually doesn't even seem like it's on the table as an answer. So the desperation sets back in. Because illegal activities are not on the table as an answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you said, it's an act of desperation.
I was there before where I was doing things, shoplifting to get what I want when I didn't have anything, right? Yeah. And then I reached another level, and then when all of a sudden I reach one of those downward slopes where I don't have things, I still don't go shoplift because now that illegal, being a criminal is now off the table. So now you have to be creative. Let me tell you, it's like when a general wants to take an island, he puts his troops on the island and he fucking leaves. Because the troops are going to fight because they know that's their only choice. Right? They'll fight way harder than if they think I could just get back on the boat if I get shot. Mm-hmm. Or if I get hurt, I'll just get back on the boat. No, there is no boat. Now you have to think even deeper. You know? Like this guy that I was helping out, man. I'm going above and beyond because I'm bored. I don't have to work, right? So I'm doing like above and beyond to help somebody. Taking them to the places they need to go. Buying them the things that they need to get started, right? Yeah. Just to have this person, not spit in my face, because I probably would deck a person who used me like that, but just literally callously just not care. And that's not happened once, it's happened twice, it's happened 3 times, There's many people. So, and I've been trying many things too. I try to get higher up in my career by working there longer and longer and longer, right?
Yep.
And the longer I work here, the more set for the future I'll be, right? Da 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 da. Haha. Nice. You know what? That's okay, man. That's the river that we have to cross to get to the new land. That's okay. Sean spilled an entire extra large full cup of coffee that I just bought all across the fucking living room. He hit it with his elbow and it just flew.
Yeah, I did the exact same shit in 7-Eleven yesterday.
So you did that at 7-Eleven?
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds like fun times. Did you have to clean it up? Did you offer to?
Nah, cause like it fell like on like the little thing where the condiment shit is or whatever.
Right.
So some of it fell there, but then it kind of like went in it and between it and like the little fake ass hot dog thing or whatever.
Well, we'll be right back after these messages. You guys need to get some glass. You need to get some glass. Some glass for your ass. And I got some glass for your ass. And I sell glass. Shop. Go there, pick you up a bong, pick you up a pipe. I got me a little pipe. I got me a bong on the way too. I use that when I'm not being sociable. I don't like sharing pipes with people, I don't want to get herpes.
Mono.
Yeah, exactly.
COVID.
And from what I've seen, Virtue, that shit on your lip got some shit on its lip.
I ain't got not a goddamn anything on my lip.
There's like 7 little white bumps all packed together.
The bull fucking
and
shit.
A tiny little dot.
The bull fucking shit it is.
It's okay, man. One time I was dating a girl, and I looked, and I swear I saw the little white bumps of death, and I just carried on. I just carried on. No, that's not true. Oh, man.
Sorry about that, bro.
That'd be horrible, though. Because, hey, think about this. You get with a chick, right?
Yeah.
You or her gives the other one herpes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get extra mad. You don't get inflamed over the situation. You just...
nice choice of words, by the way.
Yeah. You don't get, highly irritated and inflamed. You simply say, now we got what we got, right? I guess because we love each other, we'll just carry on. Oh, it's wet. It's wet like Kathy Lee Gifford. You're like, I refuse to use... Well, you're burning your thumb, you fucking animal. Turn it the other way around and turn it up. You know how to clean out a lighter when it's wet?
Let it dry.
10 second. It's a 10-second cleanup. But the problem is they put these fucking childproof things on here.
Yeah.
Because all you gotta do is go... But it's harder with the childproof thing. But if you just do that a couple times... It'll just work immediately. Like right now, it's not working, right? Because it's wet. Nah, it's not working. So you just do this.
See, it's a flint.
Yeah, I know. What you do is you keep doing that till you see. God damn. Till you see the flint light up. And now it works.
Oh, the constant friction dries it out, basically.
Yeah, you're just drying it out as you go. Till you see the flint start to strike up. That's, if in an emergency situation, you need to get your lighter working now. You know what I mean? Like you're in the bathroom, you dropped your lighter in the toilet, and you only got 15 minutes to take this crack hit, and you don't want anybody else to know you have crack. So you want to do it just in the bathroom. Yeah.
Speaking of crack, have you heard of this show on FX called Snowfall?
No.
It's a good fucking show, bro.
Oh yeah.
Really good.
Is it about cocaine?
Well, it's about the epidemic of the cocaine transition to crack in the 80s.
Once they introduced crack to humanity,
basically. But in LA.
I like saying introduced when it comes to like that, because it's like, hello, Andy, meet crack.
Right, but you know what I'm saying, but just like the way they ran the whole shit down, like I said, it covers the whole in the first season. Covered the whole transition from just straight white,
yeah,
to like, you know what I mean, like how like the idea came to turn it into freebase. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. And I mean, that's apparently that happened in New Jack City. And there was this guy, he was like, hey, you just put the ice cubes in, and then you got crack. This is the new baby. Remember New Jack City, by the way? They showed the making of crack. When people were like, wow.
Yeah, the Carter. That's where Lil Wayne got the idea from.
Right, where he's like, you know what? I'd like to introduce crack into the neighborhood, if you don't mind. Can you imagine them sitting down at a meeting? All right, guys, listen. There's a lot of money to be made if we introduce crack.
Right, but see, the thing about it was that the way the shit went down in the show was, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was the advent, so motherfuckers didn't even know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like there's several central characters in the whole show and shit, but like the main central character is a kid named Franklin, like black dude, right?
Right,
like 21 years old. Like the first batch that he cooked up when he learned how to do it, I mean, bro, it looked like the motherfucker had a bunch of damn toilet cakes in a bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And his friends were like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, nobody had a fucking clue. You know what I mean? They were like, this is, basically what's going to make us, millions, essentially.
I would like to introduce you guys to crack.
Right, but see, what happened was, because motherfuckers didn't know what the fuck it was and shit, this is how...
They were like, biting it? Like,
Nah, like motherfucker, like, there were a couple instances, a couple different characters and shit where the motherfuckers was like, oh yeah, this is the new wave, okay, let's find out.
Start smoking something.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy, man.
And that's one thing that, to paraphrase a famous person, but also to share the sentiments of many people, there's one thing they really don't tell you about crack, and that's, damn, it's good. Man, that shit, this shit will put you, like, in a whole nother world, and you will be, like, so happy to be there that you want to punch people in the face.
I don't know about that, because a couple motherfuckers that hit that shit in the show, them niggas almost fell out. Like, off of that first hit, you know what I mean? Because that's something that's unbeknownst to them, you know what I mean? So that type of high, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking from experience, because, like, I ain't never even sniffed cocaine, so I don't know.
Right. I would like to clarify that I do not suggest that anybody start smoking crack. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's sound advice.
Yeah. I do not want anybody out there buying up all the crack. Man, I want to smoke it all myself.
But yeah.
You got that shit, man?
I mean, I wouldn't know how any of that shit looks.
You got that shit?
No.
You ain't got that shit, man? Let me get that shit.
Let me get that shit.
Let me get that shit, bro. Here's that shit.
Yeah, let me get that shit.
Get that shit, bro. Man, look. You see I crushed the bottle.
I see.
You see I crushed it.
But yeah, man. It's a good fucking show, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm not into fucking, those, like everybody loves those drug shows. Like, they're like, oh, Narcos, you're gonna love it. And I'm I get it. It's cool because it's cocaine,
well, I put it to you like this.
They're all, like, dressed in 1960s garb with, like, that haircut.
Well, no. This was, like, in the mid-'80s.
You know that haircut that they all had back then. They didn't care.
Here's the thing about it, though. Like I said, like, the dude Franklin is the main central character, but it's like...
Does he have a mustache?
No.
Alright.
But, like, you know what I'm saying? The way the show is constructed, like, it goes all the way down the rabbit hole, all the way up to how... Nice job. What the fuck was the point of that?
Oh, man, I don't know.
But all the way, like, to, like, how the government...
You spilled some, I spilled some.
But mine was accidental.
Yes.
But, like, all the way down to how the government is involved in, this shit coming into the United States in the first fucking place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be here if the government hadn't sanctioned it.
Yes. Like, but...
That's kind of reaching, man.
But off the book sanction. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of reaching. Now, I do think... And here's the fucked up part. The kicker is, like, how did a bunch of people in the hood who had cocaine figure out the chemistry to make crack?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in the first season, like the dude Franklin, like I forgot who it was, but it was somebody else that showed him how. Actually, matter of fact, he was in Oakland. Like matter of fact, it was the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan.
Right.
Yeah, he was a character in the show in the season 1 and shit. They went up to Oakland.
So he's the mastermind.
I don't say the mastermind, so to speak, or whatever. But like this was where it was first like brought up in the show. Like Franklin, a couple of people and shit. They went up to Oakland trying to find a new connect and shit.
Right.
And like I said, that's when he learned like the process to cook it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
I do understand.
But he was like, but what it was that he was real tight-lipped on how to do it.
And yet still I guffaw. Because I just feel like there's this huge... Everybody wants a conspiracy. And nobody wants to blame themselves.
I mean...
And I think that a bunch of crack dealers were like fucking... Listen, it is easy to believe that somebody was like, let's mix fucking crack and cocaine as cut. In the very beginning,
what do you mean mix crack and cocaine is cut?
I mean, not crack. Baking soda and cocaine. Thank you for clarifying, because I don't need that in my life. But anyway, it's easy to think somebody was like, I want to cut this cocaine and make it look like more. Let me add some baking soda. That's easy to think of.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But, there was no quote-unquote cooking involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the things they ran down in the jump was motherfuckers was, like, cutting the shit with, like, baby formula and bullshit like that.
Right. Now, imagine if you get a batch of Coke and it's, like, full of fucking baking soda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, man, well, what are we going to do with this bullshit batch? Man, try to cook it out or something. Try to, like, melt it out, and maybe we can get all the baking soda out and then cut down what's left once it dries. It's possible, right? It's possible to just try it. I mean, we got nothing to lose. We got pounds of cocaine laying around. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So they fucking do it, and then all of a sudden it clumps up, and they're like, damn, baking soda's clumping up with the cocaine. Look at that. As it cooled off, one of the batches, they were like, this didn't work. Put it to the side. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they started another one, but then like batch...
It was somewhere along the way where the extreme cold temperature was brought into it, and that's what makes the shit crystallize into the pure basically the pure cocaine, which is crack.
Right.
You know
so there is a possibility of crack being naturally stumbled upon by the drug world. It's not necessarily...
That's fair to say with a lot of things about a lot of things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in its advent stage, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A lot of things were like that.
Now, not having watched the show, do they have clear-cut evidence of, like, government officials bringing cocaine to people and saying, hey, do this with it?
Like, what do you mean clear-cut evidence, you mean?
Does the show...
You have to remember, it is a show.
Right. Does the show itself assert that, like, there were government officials
absolutely
that went to them and were like, we need to put this in...
Absolutely.
Introduced. That's where the word introduced, because white people were involved.
Yes. But, like, you know what I mean? We're talking black, Spanish, Arabs, Jews, white people. Like, the whole 9 yards, bro. Like, I mean, I'm talking about all the way down to... Like how the shit originated with the motherfuckers just being farmers for real, and then all of a sudden figured out that they could cook some shit and do something else.
Listen, I was in Job Corps.
As a matter of fact, you know how that shit probably happened?
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
This because the farmer thing. I want to just I want to jump off of it
because like that was a very important component, like how they tied the two together and shit. It was a very important component.
When I was in Job Corps is a place where you go learn shit. So I was learning HVAC, stationary engineering, building apartment maintenance. But I didn't learn it because I skipped every day. And Job Corps pays you. So, like, to be there every 2 weeks you get a paycheck. And that's not a lot, but at the end you also get more money. You know what I mean? Besides the point. We used to skip every day because it was the woods of Maryland, Woodstock, Maryland, the place where we go camping to this day. We go back to Woodstock.
You did a whole show on it.
Right. And you can go check out the show, Woodstock, Job Corps reunion.
But matter of fact, was that the episode that was directly after the friendship episode, or like one or two after?
It may have been one or two after, but it's the one that's right here.
Context though. The friendship episode, that was number 8. Ocho.
Yeah, we're way back. We've done a lot of episodes. Now let me get back on point.
Yeah.
As we skipped class, we would go down into the woods, and we would just explore all over the place. We went like 10 miles that way, found some cool waterfalls, went 10 miles up that way. Pataxco State Park is a great place to go, man. It's beautiful. But at a point, I saw some horses from the trail. And I was like, that looks like horses way over there. So we cut all the way through the woods, and sure enough, there's a horse pasture, right? Now, this farmer comes out, and he's mad at us, right? Because I was certain I could smell weed. Growing, I like lots of it. I mean, just like huge wafts of marijuana headed my way. Nobody's smoking out there, so I'm thinking somebody's growing weed in these big fields, right? There's lots of weird fields with little circle areas, you know what I mean? This farmer comes out with a gun and gives us a job working on his shop, on his farm. So we would skip school, come to the farm, and learn how to break horses. I was learning how to break horses. You take a horse that knows people. That horse taught me how to break horses.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Breaking horses means a horse that is wild, right, needs to be calmed down so people can be around him. The only way to do
domesticated, basically.
The only way to do that is to get a horse that is an alpha horse, an already broken alpha horse, and he'll get up in their face. And every time they try to even every time their mind even turns to I want to leave, he gets in their face more. And they just stay. Eventually they stay put, and you can walk up to them, and the horse itself, the alpha, tells them, no, you're not going anywhere. You're letting him get on you. You know what I mean? It's crazy the way it works, but...
So which came first?
The alpha or the broken?
Yeah.
The broken. Well, breaking an alpha, probably. You know what? I would love to think that a long time ago it was man and horse separated, and that like the leader of the horse, the alpha, met the leader of man, and they liked each other, and he allowed him to ride him, as opposed to like we caught one. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd like to think that, because I'm a romantic, and
well, we also got to remember too,
pretty much like Native American.
Animals aren't stupid.
No, they're not. They're not at all. I seen a video just this morning as I woke up. You know, you'd be scrolling through. I like letting the short videos play. You know what I mean? How it just keeps doing a new video, the short videos. And one of them was a cat that saved a baby from going down the steps. Cat was all the way across the room. Baby gets down off the couch, crawling towards the steps. The cat's like... Baby gets right near the steps. The cat said... ran over there and just grabbed the baby, get in front of it, and pushed it back. Like, can you imagine? Like, people don't understand how intelligent the animals that we eat are. Can you imagine if we didn't eat animals and they actually trusted us completely enough to like integrate themselves in our lives willingly? Like that, I don't know, man. I just feel like
if communication with animals was a thing, man, that'd be some cool shit.
Well, it's close. I communicate with my cat without speaking.
I put it to you straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if animals could speak the language that we speak, or we could speak the language that they speak, that would be fucking cool, man.
It would, until like every fucking day you heard like noise, bird, noise outside, maybe window, bed.
Do you think it would be like that?
Yeah. I swear to God. Like, food.
Right, but see, the thing is, though, that implies stupidity, though.
It implies a very simplistic nature.
Yeah, instinct.
But yet, there's instincts that go deeper So when an animal sees something intricate happening, like a baby running towards a staircase, it says, I gotta stop that from happening because I have an instinct that's at least useful. You know what I mean? Like, the motherly instinct, basically. Maybe it was thinking the same thing as if its kitten was walking towards the ledge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It sees a tiny little human.
Yeah, that's obviously helpless.
Right. I bet you the cats are like, why the fuck are you still helpless? It's been 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's been 2 years and you're still fucking going. And, like, my son is, like, running up hills, jumping on top of things.
Do you think... Okay, let's think about it like this. Let's say a couple gets married, right? Get pregnant, have a baby, right? They get a cat, right? Right? Cat sees the baby grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, starting off as an infant, right? To your same point, right? But now, let's say the cat see that shit maybe 2 or 3 times. Like, do you think they would think about it a little differently?
2 or 3.
You think they would think about it a little differently?
Yes.
You think it would have more? I guess that's just how they grow. You know what I'm saying? After seeing it a couple times.
Yeah, they would think like, I understand now.
I guess they're just slow.
Maybe they don't though.
I don't know.
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But I would like you guys to go down in the comment section and tell me: is it distracting when I'm talking and he's coughing, or when he's talking and I'm coughing? Are you looking more at the coughing aspect, or are you focusing more on the talking and trying to stay with the conversation?
Well, that's the wrong question.
No, it's not. That's a good question. What's the other question?
Nah, the correct question is...
Is it distracting?
No. It has nothing to do with distraction. It has to do with focus. The real question is, what are we doing wrong to keep from grasping your focus by the jugular? That's the real question.
We're switching sides today.
Fuck
that shit.
That's the real question.
No, we don't care. I want to know if it's distracting. That's it. If they got a problem with their focus, let them take some fucking hypo energy pills.
Nah.
Or drink a Red Bull. Get a Red Bull! Ow! It's made from bull semen.
And it is.
When your body's on fire and you're tired and leaning, get a Red Bull. Ow! It's made from bull semen. Yeah, that's right.
God damn.
Well,
but it's true.
It sounds true, and it would be great if it were true.
That's
but taurine is bull urine. And
There's semen in that, but
I think there's semen in it. If he busted, like, the night before, and then he pissed in a bottle for them to make, like,
there's some semen in it.
They were like, excuse me, sir. And they hand him a bottle, and he's like, moo, and he goes in the bathroom, and he's like, oh, and he tries to pee, and immediately the pee goes in 5 different directions, because there's, like, a little bit of cum stuck, dried at the tip. It's like a cap, And then the pee just starts breaking all out to the sides. So then you just push hard, and it goes, you gotta, like, bust out that semen. It's like the mucus plug in baby's nose.
What the fuck, man?
When the baby's born, you gotta take the mucus plug out. You know what I mean? Of their nose.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So I've heard, but I wouldn't know.
Real women suck out the plugs. That's like, they use their mouth and
Ew.
and they spit it. Real women suck out the plugs. That's my newest hit, by the way. Coming at you live on iTunes.
That's disgusting.
What? You think it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah. Well, good. That should do it then. So, mission accomplished. We've disgusted virtue by talking about those mucus plugs, those baby maggots all up in your nose. It's like pulling out a big fucking pupa.
You said baby maggots?
Yeah, it's like a pupa, like, in your nose. Like, whoa. You ever seen them pull out bot flies out of people's bodies and shit?
Bot flies?
Yeah, they pull out, like, these huge little fucking things out of, like, a little wound, man. You never seen that? Man, we're going to have to do a whole, like... We're going to, after the show, I'm going to introduce him to bot fly larvae. Yeah. Man, you talking about some... Blah, blah.
It sounds more disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting, right? Like Dr. Pimple Popper. You ever seen that? It's a show on TV.
I don't want to say I've seen that one in particular, but for some reason, I don't... That whole shit right there,
yeah,
bitches love that shit, and I don't know why.
They do. They're like, "Oh, you got one in your back. Come over here. Get over here."
And be so happy to do it.
You got one in your back. Come over here. I'm like, I do not have one on my back. You're fucking hallucinating. Okay? You want to see some fucking mucus so bad that you're seeing, like, mirages on my back. Like, an oasis is over there. Like, go to it. No, there's no pimples on my back. I have the cleanest, smoothest skin of any average white male that you know. Every bump you see on my skin is simply a scar of battle. Simply a scar of battle. And by the way, by a certain age, you stop having zits. And if you don't, you're not focused enough. You're eating wrong. You know? By a certain age, you stop getting pimples like hardcore. I might get one. I may get a pimple tomorrow just because I said this shit. Like a fucking witch's curse, you know? And it may show up, like right here, and I'll be like, oh. But like, still, it's not like I'm like all over my face. I got like rosacea stamps, like gosh, like fucking post office stamps of herpes all over my fucking face. Right. By the way, some of the most beautiful women that I've known have had rosacea.
Have had what?
Rosacea.
Fuck is that? Like
red skin and like are prone to acne and shit like that.
Okay, like rosacea, you like that's like a patch of your skin will turn red. Is that what that
means?
Yeah.
Like people with rosacea get lots of red spots. You know what I mean? But usually it's a person who's pale, like a pale white person, like Nosferatu style white. You know what I mean? Like high elves living under the fucking canopies of the great oaks, never really feeling the sun until they rise to the top of the canopy. or like Caucasians. Let me present something to you before we roll out of here. This is something I thought of, okay? Now, as we look at the different histories of the people on the planet, we can talk about who's been here the longest that we can think of. And we think about like Asians, their actual history goes back really far, right? Like the dynasties and shit, like thousands of years. All that whole area actually has a very intricate history. The Hindus and stuff, they actually still have a lot of their history from like way before we think is possible. But like, if you think about like the first people that came out, and then what was the last people that came out were white people, right? We were the last people to kind of show up, apparently.
Like, where you getting that from?
Well, they call us Caucasians, right?
Okay.
Why? Because we came from the Caucasus Mountains.
Okay.
Did we come from the Caucasus Mountains?
I don't know.
Because there's actually a place near the Caucasus Mountains in Russia. It's called Port Archangel, right? Where right near there's something called the Devil's Mouth. It's a giant pit that goes down at an angle, and nobody's really gone all the way down it, right? Because it's so jagged and fucked up. But it's a giant pit, and it goes all the way down. And if you follow the trajectory, you get underneath the Caucasus Mountains.
Okay.
Right? So I'm thinking, if you want to know where the last people came from, if you want to know where everybody came from, look where the last people came from. Unless we're thinking that there's different, like, egg units all around the world that produce people. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, so if we came from the Caucasus Mountains, everybody came from the Caucasus Mountains. It has to be. I mean, and
what's the point?
Well, I was thinking about this.
Because, hold on. Before you continue, this is the reason why I asked that question. What is the point?
All right.
Because, like, what you talk about, all has to do with division. You know what I'm saying? Like,
actually, it's unity.
When we're talking people,
right?
When we're talking people, like, we should be at the fucking point by now, man, where it don't matter where the fuck you from, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and if I can prove that we all came from the exact same place, then that would be way more inclusive.
At this point, it don't fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? People are every fucking where.
But wait, do you not like division or do you like division?
I think division is a bad thing.
Right. So, and that's because everybody thinks that there's people are the people of this people and that, and everybody's the chosen people. And why can't we all just realize that if we look at it scientifically, we all came from the same damn place? And if white people were the last people to show up, like the Greeks and the Romans, then now we made Europe and all that bullshit, right? And now we're conquering this and that. And if we're the last people that showed up on the scene, what makes us think, oh, but we're the last? There could be a new breed that's still under the Caucasus Mountains right now that has been down there 10,000 years, doesn't know what the fuck, and is going to come out with a completely different like body type and skin color that we've never even thought of, maybe even translucent. What makes us think that the Earth or that humanity is done producing different types of people? How many different types of people are there? There's blacks, there's Asians, there's like Europeans, there's Hispanics, right? Then there's like Swedish and Norwegian people. Like, how many different types of people are there? And if they all came out at different times, what makes us think we're done? You know what I mean? What makes us think this is the epitome of what humans are going to be? Like
I said, man. Like, I agree with what you're saying because like you're talking about forthcoming potential. You know what I'm saying? You know,
right.
not just in, you know, skin color, creed, or bloodline, but in potency in your ability as a person.
It literally,
you know what I'm saying?
As in, like, cultivated humanity. Like, somebody's going to show up that's way more advanced. Like, that's way more mentally just a different person. And we're going to think of them as, like, some kind of godless, mindless demon. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be saying the translucent devil here pretty soon.
Let's say something like that was to come to fruition. The first cue you need to look for is whether or not that person is discredited and whether or not they're labeled crazy, right? Because if those two things happen, what you're seeing is the truth.
Well,
straight up.
Like, how do you think it was when the first, like, Neanderthal caveman saw the first standing Homo sapien?
I don't know.
It was like, what the fuck? You're like me. You're not like any animals. So, like me, you're different from the animals.
You know what I'm saying? Like, something like that, maybe. But okay, like, but see, obviously, as humans now, you know, our mindset, our ability, our understanding, you know what I'm saying, you know, for whatever that's worth, is beyond where cavemen were. You know what I'm saying?
Right, we're at the next step, but we still
wait. Feet. So, because of that shit, right? Because of that, something, like I said, you know, going with your theory, something that could be considered transcendent in that way is going to be met with curiosity, but also with ego. Like, who the fuck you think you are? You're not better than us. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you start walking the slippery fucking slope. You know what I mean?
And how do we know that that's going to happen? Because it's happening now. It's already happening now.
What are you talking about?
And there's scientists who are saying, like, no. If we use eugenics, like, white people are advanced. And then there's people that are non-white that are saying, you are not better than anybody. You know what I mean? It's happening right now.
Well, yeah, the argument, yes. You know what I'm saying? But the transcendence, no.
Right. So imagine,
like I said, even in the face of that, though, like I said, bro, if that transcendence, quote unquote, were to appear in that way, you know, in a literal physical form where you could stand across from me like, what the fuck type shit, it's still going to be met with the same goddamn thing.
And but what if you can't deny it?
Unless.
What if you can't deny they're better?
I'll give you an example.
They're floating.
I'll give you an example. Unless an interaction or an altercation like that were to happen, and dominance be shown immediately. You know what I'm saying? Dominance be shown immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, crush you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, crush everybody in this room like that.
What if I looked at you and I said, look, I can, using my pineal gland, like, disconnect with the gravity of the earth and kind of move without gravity. Mm. You're just using pure electromagnetism that the body has, just altering it in a slight little way with my brain. I can now rise off the ground. What would you... Now, I'm not saying this is not a matter of dominance. I'm not using that to destroy you.
Yeah, I got you, but what you're talking about is something more.
I'm talking about evolution, and I don't know how farther we can go.
But see, here's the thing. Like, you know, if you were just to use an example of floating, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let's say... I'm sorry. All right, let's say for a couple of seconds you're like, boop, and come back down. You know what I'm saying? You know, like most motherfuckers be like, man, this bullshit. Here's a trick here. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Some type of shit. Whatever. Right? You know, you have a lot of people trying to discredit that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then they also got Mythbusters and all that. So that's what I'm saying. You know, like, let's say you did it. Right? Stood in front of these motherfuckers and shit. Like, whoever these motherfuckers are. Right? Watch this. You know what I'm saying? Just start floating. Right? Walk underneath me.
Right.
Stand there underneath me. A bunch of y'all. Right?
Right. I can tell you how I do it. It's easy.
Right?
It's science.
Right. But see, this is what's going to happen. They're going to take you. Mm-hmm. Right? They're going to, like, I'm talking about, unless you have the ability to, like, gone. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take you. Right?
They're going to take every piece of you and harvest every bit of DNA that they can and biomatter that they can to recreate you. That's what they're going to do.
All because of ego. All because of ego.
And desire for power. Lust. Men lust. Men lust for power and women. Like, there's two things that we lust for.
Like, both of those things feed the ego. That's my point. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So like I said.
Well, women don't only feed the ego.
No. I'm saying, like you said, power and women. Right. You know what I'm saying? Men lust for those things.
They do.
What I'm saying?
They do.
Like, both of those things feed the ego, is what I'm saying.
Yes, they feed the ego.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So, what I'm saying is, if something like that were to occur, like a transcendent altercation like that, the only way ego wouldn't come off is if, like, it was immediately known that I could crush you like this.
In that terms, though, you could crush
you like this.
Yeah, but you could crush me, but all you're doing is destroying something beautiful. You're not showing any kind of virtue. I get the ego part. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. No. You misunderstood me. Like, when I'm talking about those two things, like, feed a man's ego, like how we were talking about, like, a transcendent being. You know what I'm saying? A mutant. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, like I said, an altercation like that were to happen. Like, the only way ego wouldn't come off in a situation like that is if that whomever that transcendent being is, his name could be Kelzar or Morpheus or whatever. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
If one of them has like the higher ground.
Well, like literally, like everybody has no doubt. Like, you know, one motherfucker like, you know what I mean? Done. Right.
Now imagine.
Nigga shoot bullets.
Imagine we're in a group of different people. We've got Karzar Realty, Margahan, we've got all these different people, and then Andy and Virtue, right? And Andy starts showing ego, and then everybody snaps at once to get rid of that guy, right? We all have our ego, but nobody's ego is going to dominate another person's ego. One of the big things my father used to have is he disliked certain types of people, and he would diss them, like hardcore at parties. Listen, we would go to parties, me and my family. And my dad would drag us to these things. And he would diss people. Like that were kind of nerdy or fat. He'd be like, hey, you fucking... You know what I mean? He would call them pussies. He was a bully to certain people he saw as, like...
weaker than him.
Yeah, or just not cool. Because somebody would come from CPS to our house, and even though they were, like, more powerful, he would be like... He'd be like, look at you, you look like a fucking pervert. Why the fuck are you even doing that? He would, like, really dig deep on him. You know what I mean? And, like, Get out of my house. Get the fuck out of my house, man. He was like, you see this shit? And he'd show him his tats. Like, he'd be like, you know who you're fucking with here. Like, it's my dad. You know what I mean? Mm. But if you were doing some criminal activity or you had tats, you were cool. Like myself, I've been to jail. Oh, Andy's cool. He's been to jail. He knows. You know what I mean? Right. My sister Kelly, she's cool because she's been to jail. My other two sisters, not so cool. They're kind of square. They never been to jail or nothing, right? Like, that's the kind of ego that that needs to be addressed. Well, man, you take me down a road, bro. You take me when we're talking about what kind of people to have in society. You take me down a road, because that's where, like, maybe it's my white mind starts trying to decide and decipher what levels of types of people can be involved and what levels and types of people have to be put out.
But see, like I said, man, you know what I'm saying? That's where, where you from, that shit shouldn't matter anymore, man. Like, at this point, bro, it should be about merit, man, straight up.
Well, don't say that, because I agree, but there's many people who are saying that's racist. That is discriminatory to base things on merit, because some people have had more opportunities to do more schooling and do more this and that than others, and we should actually just be letting in whoever into the position.
I got you, bro, but you know what I'm saying? You also got to remember the same token, man. Transcendent people have come from everywhere, man.
I don't see any truly transcendent people nowadays, and I honestly think that those autistic kids that we see are actually kind of nearing the next step of our evolution.
Like hopscotching on the line and shit.
Yeah, if those autistic kids can suddenly become like moralist, like great, like mentally great, then oh wow, they'll change the world, right? I think Elon Musk is one of them, actually, because he's very functional, but yet you can tell he's autistic. You can tell he functions on a wave of autism. Okay. So it's like, what
okay, but see, also, like, one thing you also got to consider, and this is where it becomes a matter of, relativity,
right?
Is, what do you consider, impactful on the world? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I mean, I just think of impactfulness on the world as, like, relative as I can. I'm not thinking about individual people. I'm not thinking about all those things. I'm thinking about, like, the bigger picture. Like, why is this group feel the way they feel?
I'll put it to you like this.
Why are these people in the situation they're in? Let's fix it.
I'll put it to you like this. All right, we're going to talk in the positive respect and in the negative respect. People that have had an impact on the fucking world. People. Right? We're not talking conglomerates. You know what I'm saying? Even though at some level it boils down to that. But we're talking about people.
I'm going to hold you to a high standard here as far as impacting the world.
I'm just going to throw some names at you.
All right.
Okay?
Do I get to respond to each name? I'll just say quick.
Whatever. Hitler.
Impacted the world? Yes. Well, I think, he was a pawn. Did Hitler impact the world? I'm not too sure. But that situation impacted the world.
Okay.
Possibly caused by him. Okay. Completely by him.
Next name. Gandhi.
Changed the world?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're not just talking the realm of the world now as we know it, but we're talking about just throughout the course of history.
Our problem is we don't know the real names. Like, because there's a guy who put Hitler in power. Like, I would say Himmler changed the world as far as telling Hitler what to do. Himmler, his second hand. But who knows who was in full control. That's why we don't know the names. But did Hitler change the world? Hitler's scenario, the Holocaust changed the world. Christianity, so did Jesus change the world? Or did the church change the world? And who's the guy in the church? Who are the guys?
See, and that was why I said it could still boil down to conglomerate, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But, you know what I'm saying? It's part of the problem, because really you could say it's all that. You know what I mean? At some point, because, there's no one person that can stand alone and do it by themselves.
You know who changed the world right now? Eminem. Because a whole bunch of different people now are acting like him. And it's all around the world. Now, if I want to think about people who impacted and changed the world, oh, you know who did? Changed a lot. Kurt Cobain. Because everything was like hair metal in the 80s, like glam rock with lipstick and face paint. And Kurt Cobain came in and said, no, grunge. And next thing you know, everybody just kind of like calmed down.
Okay, what about Bob Marley?
Changed the world. Created, especially now his impact is coming in even stronger because his sentiments are being used in the modern day efforts to legalize marijuana around, everywhere.
Okay. Malcolm X?
No.
Not at all?
No. Martin Luther King, yes. His compadre. His
You
counterpart.
Think so?
His counterpart.
You think so?
Yes, because a lot of people agreed with that.
I got you.
A lot of people could relate. White people could relate to Martin Luther King and understand what he was saying.
I got you. You know what I'm saying? But like Malcolm X was far more traveled than MLK, bro, and that's no disrespect.
It doesn't matter. Malcolm X changed only his little group. That's all he did. His little group of guys, he affected them, and that's it. And some people still to this day go Malcolm, but those people still have to be kind of talked down and be like, listen, there's more to it.
Right, I got you, man. But see, I'm more of the mindset. It ain't like hey, Martin or Malcolm, and say it's Malcolm and Martin. You know what I'm saying? Or hey, it's Martin and Malcolm. You know what I'm saying?
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. are, to me, I like the story, and I wish there was a movie about their relationship, because to me it's like Professor X and Magneto. You know what I mean? Like,
that's an interesting analogy. That's a very interesting analogy.
And I would love to see that story come to fruition.
I see why you would pick those two.
It really makes.
I see why you would pick those two.
I mean, do you see it? Because I can definitely see a story there, a movie.
I do. Yeah, I see the analogy there. Yeah.
I wouldn't write the movie, and I would not let Spike Lee write the movie, but I would, love to see it made. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you could honestly capture the two sides of that coin, I mean, I start getting choked up just thinking of it. So let me just calm myself, because there's certain aspects of humanity that really are poignant and touch me. You know T-Bear? Mm-hmm. T-Bear, just for reference, is this big, gruff dude. We call him T-Bear. But, like, if you think of teddy bear as in, like, the kind of bear that will, like, get on your back and, like, crush your spine and then bite your face off because you're screaming. That kind of bear. But, you know what I mean? I remember one time seeing him with this girl he was dating, and her kids were there. Mm-hmm. And normally, I'm going to be honest with you, T-Bear annoyed me. And if you're watching T-Bear, yeah, you annoyed me because you swung on me, remember? I ducked your shit, but that was a situation right there. Anyway, when I saw him one day, the baby was crying or something. And he picked it up, and he started, like... And I just felt like a real... Like, there's no ill intention here. There's no side hustle, like, look at me, I'm taking care of your baby. It was just like, oh, the baby's crying, let me get it. And I started crying. As a 23-year-old with a trench coat, long hair, and a guitar, and smoking weed with everybody, I would fight anybody, you know what I mean? But I start crying when I see this big, huge...
Like, did he like, was this baby that was crying, did he know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he knew the child.
Okay.
It was just the child was being ignored. Mom's at the party with us up in the food court, smoking cigarettes, this and that. Baby's being ignored, and T-Bear just picks it up. And that small moment of tenderness, certain things. I'm the guy who cries at movies, but not when, my ex hangs herself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the type of dude who cries with some weird shit, but not the good shit. You know what I mean?
It's funny because, some would say that presents a very deep psychological problem.
Maybe. Hey, we're all problematic, man, but are we going to embrace it, or are we going to call it, like, type 2 neophandria, and you need this medicine, and you'll be better? No, I'm going to fucking just, asshole. Or damaged crook. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is, live it, deal with it. You are what you are. Make a new move. Right? You can do it. We can do it. We can all do it. We should all make a new move. We should decide right now what the new move is and fucking just do it. The moral of the story is that the crackhead was the farmer. He just smoked crack all day and trained horses and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But literally, he offered us crack, drove us around on crack.
Was there any weed out there in the fields?
There was no weed in the fields that I knew of, but that was just counterpoint.
But there was a lot of crack.
Yeah, he smoked a lot of crack.
A lot of crack in the fields.
Right.